Hi there, Pisces. Welcome to your tarot reading for the beginning of August 2025. It's Rena here. I had trouble articulating that because usually I do mid-month readings and then I do end of the month readings, and it seems that they're very close together, and I thought that it would be good to have content, closer to the beginning of the month. And so anyway, if you like, this is a general reading, tarot reading, but if you like love specifically, I have a second channel that I've been experimenting with, and it's called Tarot Alchemy with Rain and Moon. And you can check that channel for love readings. That's what I think I'm going to focus on for now. And I'll still be doing tarot readings on this channel, but specifically for love, I might do some other like ASMR or something like that on that channel, affirmations and, kind of positive content, spiritual content. So you can check out that channel for August love readings. And for August horoscope readings, check out this channel because I did come out with those, and those are almost a month old. I'm getting set to do September horoscopes within the next week. So it just goes to show you. All right, let us see what we've got. Because I've had people ask me what deck this is. This is the Flower Child tarot deck, kind of a 60s theme. But, the artwork is, a little different, but it still is relatable to the classic Rider-Waite Pamela Coleman Smith images that we are all familiar with. Okay, it looks like two cards have come out. I've been working with this deck for a few months, and it's matte, so it's not glossy, so it's a little bit more. When you pick it up, sometimes you pick up an extra card, so I always, I figure it's meant to be if I pick up two cards at the same time. So anyway, that's fine. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of mention in terms of this time period is that there are a couple of important transits. One of them is a full moon in Aquarius that's happening on the 9th. So in a few days, less than a week, as I record this. And that's in, Aquarius is a sign right before you. So this will be in the house that you rule in astrology, the 12th house. This could have particular implications for you of a karmic nature, like maybe something is ending, it's the last house. So kind of some, tying up loose ends, but something could be, really ending. And sometimes it's something very psychic, and maybe like having a prophetic dream, but that's happening. And then Mercury goes direct on the 11th, so that's around this period of time. The heart of the matter is the Queen of Swords. This can be an authority figure, a female authority figure who's very sharp-tongued. So whether, queens can be mothers. So it could be like clashing with a mother who maybe you feel is very insensitive to you. Never, this might be from the story of your life, that she was always the one that was saying harsh things, and it kind of bothered you. And as you get older, it just is more glaring because you realize how wrong it is and stuff like that. And a boss, and you just say, I can't please this person. This person is just like, I'm, nothing, she's always dissatisfied with what I'm doing. And that can make you think, like, should I continue to work here? But this could be an aspect of yourself. Typically, it'll be like if you've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations recently, and you are coming out of it. You have to kind of maybe detach from somebody that you love because maybe they're going down a wrong path. So it's the bottom line is either the other person, it's funny, this book that I always recommend for people that want to learn the tarot is called Tarot Plain and Simple by Anthony Lewis. One of the things I like about this book is he has a lot of catchphrases or, for each position, each card, he'll give like the description of what it means, but then he also has like these little tidbits that you can just kind of retain in your head. And one of the things, I'm trying to remember if this was the upright position or reversed, is like he said a real bitch. And he's a psychotherapist too, so he has a background in like human, psychology or nature, the way that people behave. And so maybe that's what attracted me to him or him to me, because I'm interested in that myself. And I don't really like the B word too much to describe women, but if the sword fits, wear it or carry it. In the past position, we have the High Priestess. And this is a card that, kind of reminds me of like a Pisces type of energy. Somebody who's very psychic, someone who is very in tune with the unseen forces of the universe. Now, the fact that these two cards are next to each other, what that suggests to me too, and this is something some Pisces people can do, is that they can be very much like rejecting that side of themselves. And if your sun is in Pisces, you may have inner planets in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And no, Aquarius is very intuitive, but it can still make a person like extremely like in the mind. So it might be one of those things where you were like, quote unquote spiritual, but now you're kind of maybe renouncing it, denouncing it in favor of being more like in the mind. And you know what? It's not either or, because you don't want to be too woo-woo, because sometimes that can make a person ungrounded and then they don't have good discernment. Sometimes you need to use logic and you can't just spiritualize everything. I don't believe that. But of course, there's always an extreme. And some people go to extremes, unfortunately. So they feel like they have to choose one over the other, which is not true. You don't have to. So just keep that in mind. You never have to do anything 100%. You can incorporate or integrate that side into you. And the higher message is a card that's associated. This is actually Jupiter and Pisces specifically. So this is the Nine of Cups, which is a card of wish fulfillment. So I do feel like maybe you're even studying something of a spiritual nature, and this is going to be what you do for a living. This Nine of Cups can even have financial benefits attached to it, but it can be if a person is feeling like that they have had something like, what's the word, like gratified emotionally. They've gotten what they wanted. That's why I said wish fulfilled. They've gotten what they wanted. And that can be very happy for that person. I'm going to set this aside, but I want to see more of these cards, because so far I'm still trying to piece this together. We have the challenge card, the Knight of Cups, and this is a card of, the knight on the, the white horse. What do they call it? The knight on the white horse or whatever. but it's in the challenge position. So this is somebody who's pretending to be that. And I think that Pisces, you're a vulnerable sign to this kind of behavior where somebody tries to act like they're your savior, they're your they're the perfect person, because Pisces people tend to be very idealistic. And I know that there are those outliers, those Pisces people, because I've certainly met the Pisces cynic, the person who isn't all that starry-eyed. I know that they exist for sure, kind of a curmudgeon type of energy. Because I read once that Pisces can imitate, they can not imitate, I would say embody any sign, since they're the last sign of the zodiac. Mutable water doesn't get much more impressionable than that. So I know that there are cynics out there, but in general, I think that Pisces people are suckers for the person who presents themselves as their perfect partner. And so you may have dealt with such a person, and maybe they still, even if you broke up with that person because you found out that they were full of it, they may still be kind of trying to get back into your good graces, especially during this Mercury retrograde. Even the shadow period will last through most of the month until the 26th. So be on high alert for anyone that you may have parted ways with. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a lover, a past, romantic partner. This can be anyone that maybe offered you something that turned out to be fool's gold. Maybe they offered you a job and it was a bust, and they're still trying to get you to do something for them, or with them, like a business partner or what have you. But anyway, it's something to kind of be prepared, because you might wind up crossing paths with them. But Nine of Cups suggests that there is something good for you out of all of this. And even the last card, the Chariot, really speaks on that. I'll talk about that when I get there. So the two cards about the energies coming in, 10 of Wands. If you are currently employed, you may be taking on responsibility more than normal. Be careful that you're not creating burnout in your life that could end up biting you down the line. Also, that is not your burden to carry. Enabling codependency. This can be in one's professional life or private life. Three of Cups. Touching base with friends more, socializing more. Could be that you are, this is how you practice that detachment if you've broken up with someone, to kind of, you could say, take your mind off of it, but really to kind of strengthen your support system. Because sometimes people, especially women, they meet some guy and then they ditch their friends. They ghost their friends for a while. And it's only when they need to cry on somebody's shoulder that they show up again. So, utilize a support system that, if it is supportive, obviously. If it's dragging you down, then that's a different story. The outcome is the Eight of Swords. So I did pick an additional card because this is a card about, how our inner programming and all of those kinds of voices that are, we're kind of, what I forgot what they call that, like the old tapes, the conditioning that might be messing with you at the moment. Okay. Swords relate to communication. Okay. Communication is, of course, talking, but it can be in writing. So social media, and that can be toxic communication sometimes, if, when it's something like that. And it can be thoughts, which are communication towards yourself. But sometimes you have self-defeating thoughts. Sometimes you might have, thoughts that are castigating, where you're chastising yourself. You're, ripping yourself a new one for some reason. So how does that play into, it's right below the Nine of Cups, this blessing. What is going on here? Do you have something good in your life that you are really afraid of because you're afraid that the other shoe's going to drop? Like, why is this good thing happening to me? So really look at when good things happen, Pisces. Do you tend to get nervous? And do you tend to be comfortable when bad things happen because it's very familiar to you? I think that happens a lot with people, especially if they've been through trauma in their life. I picked an additional card. We have the Chariot, and this is about, you see the black and white cats. They always will have black and white to symbolize duality in your victory over duality. So opposing forces. Victory over opposing forces. What are those opposing forces? Well, it depends on what's going on in your life. You're trying to do something and somebody's trying to thwart you. They're trying to block your progress, and yet you persevere. You have a victory somehow. That is really, truly a victory, because sometimes it's so easy to get discouraged and to quit, and you didn't do it. And I would say too, because the Queen of Swords made you more emotionally detached, and the High Priestess made you know, when the timing was right to do what you were doing. So basically what I see here is that you have something good happening, but you have to get out of your own way, because, and by the way, the Cancer, this is, Cancer for you is the 5th house, and you have Jupiter in Cancer. I remember I told you about the connection with Jupiter with this card, and this is Cancer. Put them together, we have a transit of Jupiter and Cancer, and this is in your 5th house, which is the house of love and creativity. So Jupiter can bring a lot of blessings and expansion in this area. So question your own reactions to your blessings, because you might find it might be very instructional, informational. All right, Pisces, that's what I have for you. I hope that you got something from this. It resonated. I have a sale going on for my natal chart interpretation, as well as my transits reading. This is not like something I print out or anything like that. This is something that I do, and these are recorded readings for you, personalized readings, and they're an hour long each, and each one is currently on sale for $49.49 US dollars. So if you are interested, please go to the information box below. There are links for both of those for purchase. There's no coupon code or anything, so it's really simple. And then I also have career readings, love readings, tarot readings for people personally. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for watching. Bye.